supposed to at this point tell me I've messed up something with my audio. So please, go ahead. I know you're waiting to. Someone's gonna say it. I've messed something up. What is up? Tell me what I've done wrong. Tell me what's going on. I look constipated. Yeah, well, you know, it's been a long day. Super quiet. There we go. See, you guys are all supposed to tell me these things. There we go. Check, check. Yeah, I know. I don't have I've moved my Yeti mic so it's wired up right now. Hopefully that works though. Did I lose my viewers? What the hell? Excellent connection. We are good. You guys will tell me again if something's wrong. Anyways, welcome everyone. I am glad to have you here. What is up, cowboy? Glad to have you. There we go. It randomly told me it went from like, I don't know, 10 or 11 people here to nothing. Yeah, Fatal was weird. Booger in my nose, guys. It's gonna get weird tonight. I'm gonna let you know that right now. And as you guys know, this is a brew situation where we have beer together and we talk about the game. And I've got some really, obviously we've got a lot of things to talk about. But I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. This is a secret, and it's also sort of a shameful thing. Thanks, Rockstar. I will. Something that's a little bit shameful. It's a guilty pleasure of mine. My guild knows this. Some of you all know this. But really what it comes down to is that sometimes I'm trying to maintain my figure, and in a thick brew just isn't going to cut it. So sometimes, again, guilty pleasure here. You can judge all you want. I'm drinking. Tonight is a natural lime white claw night. Yes. Let me hear the booze. Let me hear the hate. Let me hear the consternation in your voices. I know. It's rough, but you know what? Sometimes the claw is law. All right. So before we go, you don't even have to cheers this if you don't want to, but I'm cheersing y'all anyway. It's been a great day for Scoundrels. Awesome. Good to see you guys. Sorry it's been so long. Hey, Cowboy? Absolutely, man. There's one out here called Cowboy Water in Texas. That's it's the same thing. It's a sort of a seltzer water situation. I like it. I just don't like the super fruity ones like the mango, strawberry, all those. I'm more of the let's just make it lime, and if we have to, we'll go lemon. That's it. And Gar Saxon. Hell yeah. All right, I'm being yelled at to move up in arena. So let's go ahead and start that because we got a lot of things to talk about. We're gonna get going with of course the IG-11 and our friend Queel. I don't know how you say that. Someone correct me on that, but let's see here. Let's change our music. No more of that. Let's get moving. All right. Here we go. All right. There we go. Someone I have to hit. All right, guys, how you been? How? I mean, obviously it's been like 2 or 3 months. Jeez, I feel somewhat ashamed and embarrassed. It's been so long. So, my apologies. A lot of stuff has happened. I've been, as you guys remember, I've been starting a business. It's been a lot of work. I also have 3 children. lot of work too. I think I'm going to go 4-1 here, so let's go ahead and Dend, thank you for your service holding the 4 down. I'm going to go ahead and move up through you. Yeah, I know, I got it. I got it. There's nothing scoundrel about drinking a hard seltzer. Well, no. Vader, this hair is sweaty. So, here's here's what happened today. I've been working on like cleaning up my garage and like everything that has to do with my garage for the better part of 2 weeks. It's it's a lot. Trying to get a vehicle in there. We've got two vehicles. My wife wants to park her van there, and so I've been combing through this whole thing trying to get it in good order, and I finally got there, guys. I got there earlier this week, and let me just tell you what happens as soon as that happens. If you're married, you know this. Immediately there's something wrong with it, right? And the thing that's wrong with it is the drywall is so old in my house that, you know what, we need to replace it. It's crumbling, it looks bad. So I spent the better part of today, after I'd already gotten my garage in order, taking everything back out, busting drywall down, and trying my hardest to like not lose my mind, because drywall work is not fun. Let me just tell you that. If you think it's fun, you got another thing coming. It's not. There's a lot of work in drywall. So that's why my hair is like a greasy, sweaty mess right now. I appreciate the compliment though, Vader. That's very kind of you. Alright, let's mow through here. I don't know if you guys, if any of y'all have JML yet. I do not struggle with either of the other two Galactic Legends. It's really not bad at all. I only have one Sith Eternal Emperor on my shard, and it's not ult yet, so hard to say. But even the one that doesn't have ult, but it's still like, I don't know. It's a baby version, like a Tuesday. It's still it's still not easy. I've not even been able to keep up with some of the other videos that are out there on this, but I said it whenever the kits were released. Sith Eternal Emperor just on paper mows down JML. I actually did, if you guys look in the Clash's Corner and my sort of stuff, just random thoughts that I put out there, it is ugly, like real ugly. Everything about his kit is designed to destroy JML, so I'm not looking forward to all these Kylos on my shard that are gonna eventually have him. I'm one of those people that obviously didn't go after Kylo, as you all know, but JML was actually pretty easy to get because it required a lot of people that I already enjoyed having, like Mothma and everyone else. So, anywho, let's catch up here. Boom, no clash. Finally found a team I can't misplay. Yeah, there are very few of those. PNN, this is Mimu. Yeah, so pretty easy. Cowboy mods on JML, just fast. I think that my offset is actually misaligned. It's and I hate, like, my OCD hates that, but like it's tenacity and health. But normally I'd want one or the other, right? I think I'm at, yeah, plus 187 speed on him. Obviously it's not going to outrun every Ray out there, but, and you don't, it's more so for the SLKs out there that it's nice if you can get the ability block off first. It just makes their life a lot harder. And that comp that I'm running right now in Arena, that's probably not even the best comp. In Grand Arena, I'm not sure how I'm going to do it. In fact, in threes, we can talk about threes in just a little bit. I'm going to be very interested to see how both him and SEE work in 3v3. I've got some footage that I put out over the last couple of days on my in Clash's Corner in the Discord server. You guys can check that out. But I think I'm still not sold on what I'm going to do with JML. I was gonna go JKL, Hoda, JML, but I think that's kind of a waste of JKL, if you will. Anyhow, those are the mods I got. What's up, Potato? I thought you said you weren't gonna be able to be. Glad you're here. This isn't the new Scoundrel chat. Sorry, buddy. Fatal. Yeah, JML doesn't feel like a Galactic legend. He feels like, just, you know, a really good Jedi. So, whatever. I'm assuming that he'll probably get tweaked at some point because, yes, I agree. He's just not quite there yet. You know. Anyway, let's talk about Scoundrels, y'all. Let us talk about Scoundrels. I'm gonna go into the kit reveals today. You guys probably already saw plenty of people doing kit reveals on these. We don't have to dissect these things. I do want to show you some of the crafts, right? The crafting stuff that we've done with it. Just to, you know, until we get stats, it's all just, you know, made up in our mind speculation. But let's see here. I'll come back to you in just a minute. Let's talk about ID11 first. I think he's probably not quite as good as Quill, and just in general. I think they're both going to be awesome, but I think Quill just edges them out a little bit, and we'll talk about that in a second. Why I like that, why I like Quill a little bit better. But I'm really interested to see how because like, look, on the basic, if he's going to be assisting, as he says right here in the Zeta, he's basically going to be, whenever another Scoundrel or Droid ally attacks out an enemy, he assists, right? As long as they're attacking during an enemy turn, so it's a counter or something like that, he's going to be attacking. And of course, you immediately want to go to the basic and see, what does that do? Okay, well, he is going to deal damage to the target and to the weakest enemy. If all enemies are debuffed, he recovers 20% protection. So I'm curious how hard this is going to hit. If he's just a pure healer, I'm doubting that he's going to hit that hard. I don't remember seeing if his assist had any mitigation on it. I guess it doesn't. So it's probably not going to hit very hard, because normally they would put maximum, you know, 70% damage or something like that, or 30% reduction in damage, and he doesn't seem to have one right now. So it would be interesting to see what sort of damage he puts out. And as a healer, I did like that Reddit post. I don't know if you guys saw that. When properly modded, they say he can get to 317 speed pretty easily, and 100 and something crazy, like 140k health, which is pretty nuts. The AoE tenacity down is pretty badass. I do like that. I agree. The basic is going to be what says he's a tank with nearly a Galactic legend. Yeah, they said it's 140k health. And so I think you could maybe look at it like a Barris. I think that's not a bad idea. Here's one of the things I'm really, so if he does have that much speed too, if you can get him to 317 speed, that's pretty cool. I think that you could do two things with that. I think Django lead with him actually is pretty interesting. I also think Kira lead with him is very interesting, right? Because as a healer, he's going to be getting 60 plus speed. So, you know, throw 60 speed on, we'll call it, you know, 310 if it's, or maybe 305. That's still pretty good, right? There's not a ton of turn meter gain anywhere in his kit, if I remember right. There is some in the Quill one, which we'll talk about in just a second. But if there was a turn meter on basic or something like that, man, that would be badass. Unfortunately, that's the real. And this is why I said, whenever I first read the first impression, there's two things I'm always looking for with Scoundrels, right? Whenever they come out, because there are two real overall weaknesses of the Scoundrel faction. That is, there's not a counterattacking leader type person like that gets them to counterattack besides Embo, which again is going to be sort of specific to bounty hunters. And there's not a good leader that does turn meter like promotion, like a Palpatine or a CLS or someone like that, right? And I get why, right? If you added those things into some of the Scoundrel comps that we've got, you could really start messing things up and probably find a couple of infinite loops or whatever the case may be. So I feel like they're scared of putting that into any Scoundrel kits, even if it were a like a unique, right? Where, example, the last time I did it was with Mando, right? Mando has the TM that he gains for himself, and then he gives half of that to the just bounty hunters, right? If he had that for all Scoundrels, like, oh man, that would be sick. Hey Dex, no worries, dude. No worries. What's up, Rooster? Yeah, so Mando Lead's actually a really good idea, Farrell. I think Mando Lead could be really good. Don't forget to move to first arena. Okay, my arena guys, they really like me because they never let me miss one if I don't have to. Let's do this while we're talking this through. Scoundrels lack general game plan. Literally every other faction is just some opening strategy or way to either burst out or control enemy characters. Scoundrels don't. I agree with that. I think Scoundrels, the best Scoundrels teams that I've got, are ones that outlast the enemy somehow, or they ramp up damage over time like Nest does, or they're a little bit more nuanced, I guess, in terms of the way you approach them, both on offense and defense. If people put the investment into like the solo Scoundrels or even some of the more sort of off rebel Scoundrels, they're really great. They've got a lot of cool cross synergies, but you're right. If they had something dynamic like turn meter gains on uniques or things like that, they could probably break a lot of things, because there's so many cross faction synergies that they have. There's only 2 right now Scoundrel droids, right? It's just 88 and L3. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out in having 11 come through as a Scoundrel droid. I haven't been really too optimistic that they were gonna. I honestly didn't even think they were gonna put a Scoundrel tag on these guys. I'm really glad they did, but I still don't see how they're gonna put them all together, like Mando Lead with Grief and Kara and these two, right? Because it's like 2 kind of weird, like on their own bounty hunters. Especially for something like TB, and I know you're really good at doing TB stuff, Fatal. So I'm 100% certain that we're waiting on another character. If it's as obvious as just, the Emperor guy, like that's gonna bore me a little bit. But if we get to Beskar Steel Mando, game on, man. I still think they're gonna truncate it down into something where they don't break something. They're so afraid of breaking things right now because the kits are so complex and there's so many unique cross faction synergies. Droids in general, right? I think someone in the chat earlier said, a little underwhelming about the droid aspect of this, and I've said it since day one. Droids are not a faction you can really do too much with, because they just have so many ways they affect each other in other areas. I mean, I think they're the most diverse in terms of how much cross-faction synergy they have. They're in damn near everything, right? Besides the obvious ones like Tuskens, right? But they still got synergy with everything else besides Sith, and even that's wrong, right? Because you got Sith Empire with HK. So I don't know. Droids. I love droids. It just is unfortunate that they have to kind of stand on their own and get their kits really boxed in. Otherwise, they could easily break something. So, see what you guys are saying. That beer is so damn good. Oh yeah, I've had that beer. That's a good one. Yeah, sorry again that I'm. You know what? There's another story I'm going to tell you after we get through this battle, just to make you guys feel a little bit better. I know, yes, I'm drinking White Claw, but whatever. Yeah, exactly. There's really not a lot of, for how many characters there are now. Geez, how many characters? So I think we're at 35 scoundrels. All I know is I keep almost getting to having all of my scoundrels gear 13, and then they keep adding more. Which, not complaining, but it's just kind of a pain in the butt that I don't get to. It just feels like I'm never gonna get there. All right, almost done here. Thank you again for the reminder to get my battles. Yeah, if Chupio is ever a scoundrel, man, that would be awesome. What else are you guys saying? I do think there's some interesting. It is fresh hopped magnetic motion. This is a brew pure process. It's only the finest flavors to deliver a surge of pure refreshment like no other experience. White Claw hard seltzer. It's 1/6 of all characters. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a lot. There's a lot. There's a lot of scoundrels. And now, granted, like most of them, people don't play as scoundrels, in my opinion. Like they play them as rebels, or they play them as something else, or bounty hunters, right? They're these sort of sub factions within the scoundrel faction. So, but I do think it makes for a lot of more fun theory crafting, right? That's why they're my faction of choice. Whenever you look at them, there's just so many cool things you can do. Let's look at some of the. Oh yeah, before I get into this, let's talk about this other thing that happened. So about 2 weeks ago, I was with my neighbors who we have like a little keg club here that like we all kind of put into, and they dragged me to go get this keg, and I already had a few, and so I was just kind of along for the ride, and we get there, and I thought, oh, this looks like a good beer. I'm gonna get this one. It's called Run Wild by Avery. I think that's who it is, right? Is this it? No, Athletic Brewing Company. Anyway, I get this beer, right? This Run Wild IPA. Well, damn it, they didn't even tell me. What does that say on it? Non-alcoholic. Oh god. I bought like 2 of them. I was like, I'll try these out. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be so fun. Thanks guys for taking me on your little beer run. And then I come back and I put them in my fridge. I wake up the next morning. I'm like, what the hell is this? And they watched me buy it and they didn't say nothing. Those bastards. Yeah, I know. That's not good form. Don't do that to your friends. All right. So let's look at some of these Queel crafts that we're talking about right now. There's like 30 teams I could think of, and I started just kind of pulling some of these together. We're gonna pretend that Thugnot is Queel. We're gonna pretend that 88 is 11. Yes, that is a relic Thugnot. Yes, I assume that one day he's gonna have some really awesome synergy with Queel, and if he doesn't, we riot, okay? We will riot. My friends don't drink White Claw. Whatever, rock. All right, so let's look at it. Let's look at this. I do on paper like Kira as late still, right? Again, giving 60 speed. We didn't go over Quill's kit. We can in just a minute actually once we get to him in this. But damn it, guys. You do see a Zalbar in there. Hell yeah. Friends don't drink White Claw. Enemies do. I know. Like I said, let the hate come. Guys, I get it. Guys, I'm not gonna defend myself right now. I'm not gonna do it. You guys can suck it. That's all I've got right now. I'm out of good beer. Plus I'm trying to watch my weight. Alright, so here's an easy one, right? This is definitely going to be more of a stall comp, okay? Couple things that happen, of course, that I like. L3 with the Zeta will save 11. His buff that he gives, I forget what it's called already, we'll get to that in a minute, will resurrect or revive 11 and L3. Vandor Chewbacca, when prepared, of course, will resurrect all of them. And I think what that does, of course, anytime you're looking at a Kira team, or even, if we wanted to get crazy and throw a Clone Wars Chewie in there, you're looking to, like, shut this down immediately, right? Because a good Vandor can, like, completely ruin everything and time you out, and there's just revives happening all over the place, and it sucks, right? This is, I think, really disturbing to try to think about from a how do you attack this perspective, because there's no good targets, right? And that's like how a good defense is built when you don't have a good target to hit. Again, think about it. Normally you're worried about getting to Vandor, and okay, let's pretend you can. It's gonna be difficult, right? Because you've got 2 taunters that you have to deal with, right? 2 seemingly really annoying taunters to deal with, and then you've got dispels happening from both of them, right? Anytime she gets hit, she dispels one. Anytime he starts to turn, he dispels everyone, right? All Scoundrel allies. That's pretty crazy. So even if you did, like, pretend like you got JTR, you're trying to go after this with JTR, and you daze L3, and that gives you the chance to focus on one of these others. It's still not going to be easy, and he is going to be able to sort of counteract whatever you're trying to do to get around L3, who again, once she gets going, is really hard to take down. She's going to be cleansing. She's going to be healing everyone. They're both going to be healing. This looks really, really rough to get there from just like a how the hell do I attack it perspective, let alone think about the fact that, I know this is not normal, but a Relic 7 Vandor Chewbacca can crit you for 150k. So there still is damage that can be done. So let's actually look at Wheels kit. Let's do it. Where are we? Here we go. And I know I didn't go fully into the 11 kit, and we'll bounce back to it in a minute whenever we get through some of these other crafts. But basic target special damage. That's something to always consider, right, guys? Like, there's not a lot of characters from a percentage of overall characters that do special damage. Special damage, in my mind, is better because there's like all of 11 characters whose resistance, which is the special damage version of armor, is higher than their armor, right? So naturally, you're likely going to be doing more damage. Also interesting, he's the first light side character to inflict burning, if I am not mistaken. So something to think about there is if you have him under a Django lead, right, that'll shut down all turn meter gains on the opposite side. That's just another way to think about how you use some of these cross synergies. I really like that. It's a cool basic, especially for light side scoundrels. Okay, now we're looking at this special, this Voltaics shot. All right, stun is great, speed down is great, shock is great. Cross that. Burning isn't the first one that is light side. It's shock. That's what I was thinking of. Burning is great for the same reason I was talking about earlier. But shock on a light side character, that's pretty interesting. There could be some unique use cases here if you've got him with like a Newt lead with Dooku or something like that, right? Where there's and maybe like I don't know, you'd put him with Sith. But there's some interesting ways that you could potentially be using this shock as well. If they had burning, inflict expose, which we know that can get out of hand, and if they had shock, of course, you're going to add shock to the lowest health ally that didn't already have it. In the second special, I have spoken. I don't know. I like the animation. It could have been a little bit more like, I wish he kind of like turned to the camera and just waved at you. It says, but I get it's directed at that. Okay, mechanic savvy. That's what I'm really interested in. Well, there's 2 parts. The turn meter is great. This has a 4-turn cooldown, so it's not going to be happening all the time. But 25% turn meter is nothing to it's actually pretty decent. Then the Scoundrel and Lightside Droid allies gain Mechanic Savvy. Okay, it's one of those can't be copied, can be dispelled, so that's something you got to consider. But if it isn't dispelled, what are you getting? Increased crit chance, 40% critical damage. That's nuts. And defense penetration. Like this could easily turn someone like a Nest that's been going for a while, or man, like maybe even an IG-88 if you've got him as lead. That can turn that into like some serious damage. On top of the fact that droids get 40% offense, I'm assuming these will stack for a Scoundrel and a droid like an 88. I really hope they do. Anyway, if they have the buff and they're defeated, they're revived 80% max health, max protection. And what I like about that I don't see in other places is they didn't restrict that to light side droids, right? Like, or light side Scoundrels like it is with Vandor. This is any droids, which gives you a lot more options. Let's read what you guys are saying. That was a Pantheon, wasn't a burp. Oh, sure. Okay. I need another alcohol beer. Okay, good. I'm glad they will stack. I was thinking of it wrong. Yeah, I get it. Okay, I'm going back. Yes. Can Barris lead with Zeta replace Kira? I don't know, but that, I mean, with as much health as you're going to be getting on some of these guys, it might be. We'll talk about the we will talk about some of the different droid comps here in just a second. Let's talk about the Zeta here real quick. Scoundrel droid allies gain 40% of Quill's max health, offense, and potency until the first time Quill is defeated. Then those allies gain 40% of Quill's max protection. I don't know why they put that second. Tell me that. Why wouldn't they just say Scoundrel droid and droid allies would gain 40% of Quill's max health, offense, potency, and protection? Why would they put that separate here after his being defeated? Someone educate me. I don't understand that. Okay. Quill and droid allies recover 20% protection when an enemy is inflicted with shock. Okay, so that's interesting. Again, I'm just thinking about where else you would see shock be used. That you would also have droids. I guess maybe Sith Empire. It'd be kind of funny to put him in a Sith Empire team. When an allied Quill and IG-11 are alive, they both have 10% health steal, 30% potency. Quill can't be critically hit or stunned, and whenever IG-11 is critically hit, it recovers 20% protection. That's pretty crazy. Like that's like there are very few characters that can't be stunned. That we'll talk about Galactic Legends, JKL, the Zeta Gen. Who else can't be stunned? A JKR, Sith Empire, if they're if they've got Revan with them, like not many people can avoid being stunned. That's pretty awesome. But the fact that he can't also be critically hit, I mean that's like basically he's being guarded, that's pretty awesome. That's why I think this right here is why he might be the better between him and 11. But again, I think we're gonna have to see what the stats look like and see how fast he is and how fast the other one is. But he's the one I'm actually probably just a little bit more excited about. What do you guys think? 40% protection after defeat will slow Vandor. Yeah, that's true. Oh, I see what you're saying. It comes after he dies. They gain 40% protection. Is that what I'm hearing? Yeah. That'll be interesting. You kind of don't want to get him guarded because it's just kind of a waste. But I get that. Okay. I've spoken. Yes. All right. So let's go back to the comps here. Comps, comps, comps. All right, so here we go. Think about this. Here's another one I was thinking about. We all remember the JTR Droid comps back in the day, and I of course love me some JTR with vets as well, as you guys well know. Um, but I would be interested to see how much droid synergy you could get with a JTR BB-8 R2. There's already an expose happening here, if I remember right, from Queel. He gets an expose on that special if they're already burning, right? Yeah, on his vault, and that's a 2-turn cooldown. So that one, you could be seeing expose on that. It's a 1-turn. It's a 1-person, but again, I think that's just one more thing on top of the fact that he's just got such great droid synergy in general. With 11, I don't know. I like this. I like this a lot because you could be. I mean, let me read back through the mechanic savvy. If they're droids, those are the ones that if they get defeated, they're revived with 80% max health and protection. So I think that's pretty awesome. The fact that you could be dealing with that many droids under a JTR team, and then also having to worry about them being revived if you do kill them if you didn't take the buff off of them. That's pretty naughty. Leaderless Scoundrel squads. There's a couple of those. Oh, you can't see the bottom too. Sorry. I mean, let me move it. No, I'm just looking at the JTRs right now. Sorry. There we go. Yeah, so I'm just looking at these 2 JTRs right now. The Scoundrel synergies right here, but the continual. It's probably not going to be better than BB-8 with JTR just because it's just so powerful. But I do like this, right? That's still a pretty cool cross synergy that you've got between JTR resistance and then the Scoundrels droid situation right there. Yeah, Chupio in that mix would be. Chupio would be sick in a lot of these, especially if you've got one of the Rebel Scoundrels up front, right? If you've got a Stormtrooper Han, or you've got, I guess the only other one would be Lando. Lando would be kind of cool though. What's up, dude? I'm glad you're here, Mr. Triumvirate. Yeah, it could work. I mean, I've been experimenting with this. Let's just go to this craft over here. We'll get through this and then we'll talk about some 3 stuff for this too because I think that could be cool. Where's the crafting? Don't take any of my secrets. I really want Old Ben to work as a lead. Maybe I didn't put him in here. It's something similar to this, right? If I get Old Ben, R2, Chupio, and then like Chopper and BB-8. That's just a lot of turn meter. It's a lot of foresight. That's a lot of blind. That's a lot of stat sharing with the rebels. The only one that's not rebel, of course, is BB-8. Let me just edit this so you guys can see what I'm thinking of. I just don't know. It's just I don't know that it's there quite yet. What do you guys think of that? I'm gonna put the droids in there. Maybe we'll make Rockstar hit this. Rockstar, since you're probably here. Unless you already hit me. I bet you did, you asshole, didn't you? There we go. I wonder if he hit me. I want to make him test some stuff. Oh, you piece of crap. He had to go in there with his mixed up group. I'm glad it works for you though, bud. As soon as you get Sith Emperor up, yeah, you did. You'll be my days are numbered. I get that. Okay. Going back to the crafts. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just I think the weird part about that is just how much stat sharing that Chupio does, and that's why I'm it's it's like is the worst part about Chupio's kit is that he doesn't have a scoundrel tag. Like, kill me. That's the absolute worst part. But no, yeah, I was definitely working on something like that. But I still think maybe a Stormtrooper Han could be good. If you've got Lando lead, you got Chupio in there and some droids, could be good too. Um, I don't know. Where else was I going with this over here on the quill? I went back. Oh yeah, I went back, and then I was deciding what can I do with Akira leads scoundrelly droid situation, right? I like BB-8 for obviously getting everyone going quickly, right? That turn meter up front is pretty badass. Um, but how do you guys think about that as a defensive team, right? You've got these two are going to get 60 speed once they start critting under her. There's going to be a lot of protection regeneration. You've got, again, the two taunts. You've got this guy wiggling all over the place and spreading what could make them pretty dangerous if he does get to Illuminated Destiny. And then the same thing, you've got all these resurrections potentially happening from his special. I kind of like both of these for different reasons. Obviously, um, those are the ones I'm kind of excited about right now, though. What do you guys think? Yeah, if you used why is that thug not R7? I get it. I know. Yeah, I don't, are we? We're not gonna have Quill in time for 3v3, are we, Vertigo? Um, Potato, I think we might. I honestly think Kira might be better than Clone Wars in this specific setup with L3 Vander 11 and Quill. And that's the first one on the top here. That's the one that I was originally thinking, and it's predominantly because it doesn't have like. I'm not as worried about just Vandor being the one place that you have to target first, right? There's all kinds of things that you have to focus on. Now, again, maybe it's just in practice. It still makes it easy to kill Vandor, but if you've got two taunting, healing, and like a whole bunch of regeneration going on with those two, I'm not too worried about that. I know there really should have been an Ugnaught synergy. Like, why did I relic him besides being drunk? I don't know. They should have had it. But at the bottom, they talk about 5-year anniversary and how they've come so far from 60 to 240 characters. Dex, yeah, I know. Oh, let me look. How many characters are there? So 6. Let's just rank them by power. Power. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What did I do? I messed up. Never mind. I'm not gonna count these. I'll do it later. Is it really 240? Is that what they said, or are they just? Hmm. Let's talk about threes. And someone tell me if we're gonna have these before the next three season. That would be that'd be mighty cool. But I just didn't expect that. Maybe we get them like after the first round of 3. So that's something we got to think about. Let's see, how was I crafting on 3s? Let's look. NS can wipe out a JTR team with droids now, no, which annoys me. They cannot wipe out a JTR team with droids and the vets, though, as I have shown many a time. Save potential. Well, tell me more, Obito, while we talk about this, because I like Xeris in general. I think she's great. Second week after it starts, you unlock. Okay. So we're not gonna have them both until maybe the end of it, right? The fourth week. Okay. Oh, unlock fully after the season. Okay. All right, buddy. Rooster, enjoy. You're gonna like it. 194 characters. Yeah, that makes sense. That's just their aspirations, right? Hey, here's how many characters we made. You've only gotten through this many. Okay. Let's talk about threes right now. Mon Mothma. This is my favorite threes comp right now. Is it subject to Traya? Yes. If you don't have Traya though, very tricky. You guys know I like them with Scout and Chupio already, but by themselves as a threes comp, very nice. Let's see, where else did I like? This is again me trying to get cute with a high evasion tank, blinding, stat sharing. It's a total timeout comp. There's not a lot. There's not really much damage coming from just the Chupio there, but I've used Old Ben effectively before. Might as well give him a shot there. JKL, I'm probably going to save JKL for offense. I've gotten him to beat Darth Revan trio pretty consistently now, and I may or may not. You definitely want to use Shaak Ti or Hermit Yoda, whichever one you have that's really fast to get ahead of the Darth Revan. But once you do, it's pretty straightforward. Usually, you probably will still lose one. Yes, it is an R7 Plo. The Plo job is real. This is my standby. I think people are better at killing this now, but it still costs a lot to get through. I'd love to know what you guys think about bounty hunters. How are you guys breaking them up this time? R2 Elite Chupio BB-8. Dan, 40 unreleased versions of Mace. Yeah, I bet that. That's funny. Yeah, I now that I got Grief up, he's just so good with Bosk. So I may go like this, or I might go Django, or maybe throw Watt in there. Watt with Bosk is almost as good as I think probably Crew and Bosk. Or I'm sorry, Crew and Watt. I saved Zam lead for offense. Her thermals are great against timeout teams. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that could be good. You got your Rex bros. I mean, some of these are more traditional, right? This one is like my standby. This one, I'm a little concerned now though because I've got Nest super fast as I've alluded to. Boss Grief Mando's so good on offense. I'll give that a shot, Dan. But I definitely got to figure out what I'm going to do with my Nest now that she's super fast and not as tenacious. She's like regular tenacity now. I got a lot of work on that. Let me know what do you guys think about where you put Nest? Maybe I should just go back and remod her back to tenacity for threes. There's a lot more options to solo. There's also a lot of pitfalls that you can put yourself into. This one seems to always get people. I know it got me several times. I fell for the Finn RH Bros several times. that sucked. Standbys. Go back. Uniques only. This 3 seasons time for Carbonite. Nah. I'm actually pretty excited about this threes because last threes we sort of had our counters set for the GLs, and now we got to think through those. I think what's tough with threes is that you only get it every so often, and so it's like by the second time we got threes after Galactic Legends, we finally had figured out some of the counters to it, and then you don't have it again until there's 2 new ones. It's like, well, you just start all over again. It's like you never really feel like you've got a good system or good counters developed for it. Yeah, yeah, that Finn team can easily hurt you. Dex, hold on, I'll put it this way. If we're just talking in 3s, I put her Zeta on her specifically for this comp. This comp, you guys know I put a video on that like almost a year ago, whenever 3s came out in December of 2019. This comp is just really not fun to get through. You've got GG, of course, who's reducing your crit avoidance and tenacity and all that other junk. You got L3, who's still just a beast. Nest isn't easy to kill. And then if you decide, oh, I'm going to kill GG as the biggest offensive threat, well, L3 is going to, of course, save with the Zeta. She's going to heal everyone. She's going to cleanse Nest. She's going to get turn meter on everyone. And he's going to self-cleanse, so it's like you don't have to worry about that. This is a really tricky comp to get through. There's not a lot of good options for that. Even if you use something as intense as like a CLS Han Chewie, that can easily lose against this. Yeah, it's a lot. If I see this, I would definitely try to use like Breath Revan or something hardcore. I would love to see for 3s. I would love to see us get like here's I'm less concerned about the number of characters in each grand arena. That's not like what does it for me. I would love to see them do something more like someone actually had this really good idea I heard the other day. Is like you treat it like reinforcements on a ship, right? Where you've got 3 and then you've got 2 that come in later in the battle, right? And on defense, I mean that would be awesome. You get to hide your 4th and 5th characters until you fought them. Sign me up. That would be sweet. Dex, it definitely helps, but it's not 100% necessary because you've got L3 there to do the cleansing if you need. So, was yours potato? Yeah, I like that. I always said it would be cool to have just like the leader hidden, or vice versa, where you do like you can't see the leader, but you see the other 4 until you go into the battle, right? Where you've got, hey, I see all Jedi. I hope it's a Jedi lead. I hope it's this one. And then you go in with your counter and you don't know if it's that or not. That would put some... I mean, I know not a lot of people like that because the gamification is just too crazy. But for the people that really like tactics and strategy, man, that would be so much fun. Or vice versa, you only see the leader and you don't know what the 4 behind it are until you walk into the battle. You need to rate the program. Yeah, I mean, it ships. There's just not enough of them for you to have to worry too much. Well, it's probably your standard, 4 teams that are out there. I've seen 1 or 2 sneaky things people do that I think are kind of cool. Especially now that we've got 2 ships. I'm assuming we're gonna have 2 ships. I've seen people use Bosk as a reinforcement, which I think is kind of crazy under a holdo. Right now I have a bug where the turn meter randomly hit. No, it's a feature. Everyone loves that feature. And no, that's not normal. Yeah. So all right. So some of these. Oh, let me go back to the crafts that I was thinking of. I also like this idea right here. Potentially, I was just looking more for Chupio and ways I could use Chupio here. This could be sick. That's just so much. I think this right here. I think you could save your Han and Chewie, and I think this right here would clean up a lot of squads. That's just a lot of turn meter, a lot of attacks, a lot of. I mean, blind is this blind on him is probably the best debuff in the game, right? That's not a it's not a locked debuff like fracture or something like that, because it acts as a daze, right? It's blinds them, as of course, and it does one other thing I forget. What's the other thing it does? Potato. I know you were talking about that the other day too. I think Rolo Chupio Captain on. Yeah. No, I like that too, Dan. That could be really cool. I mean, Rolo's one I still haven't put enough time into. You know, I got a relic for JKL, but I know she can just lay down the punishment in 3v3, given how much that mass attack hits for. Yeah, I like that idea. I just don't know how much her I don't know how much her stats benefit. I guess that's the one downside in threes with Chupio, is that you're only sharing stats with yourself and 2 other characters versus 5, so you get a little bit watered down. But at the same time, you're going a lot more often, and that his AoE debuff being on a 2-turn cooldown is just that's why I like this right here, because if 3PO gets him fully translated and he's reducing his cooldowns, or he's using that blind every time he goes, it's like good luck, you know. I actually, that's probably what I'm probably gonna break out Han and Chewie and just leave them with like Kira or something, and leave Chupio there. The exposes are what I think is great. There's so much expose going on, so much damage those two can do by themselves. Roll lead, Old Ben, 3PO. I've used Galactic Legend Ray with Scoundrels, and I most like whenever I put like a nest in there, and they try to Vader it and they time out on the nest. That's back whenever she was slow, but just spam the AoE, man. It will be interesting to see if people try to use Rey in 5v5 with these new Scoundrel characters, if there's enough freedom in her leadership and her kit to pull off something, pretty crazy. Genly, 3PO, Chupio. Oh man, that could be exposed city. Show some of the 48 tests you ran yesterday. Shit. Yeah, I mean I can. It wasn't pretty. Okay, so yeah, actually that's a good point. Let me go into something here. Let's see if we got one in here. Ray with Jawas as a Vader counter. Yeah, I've seen that. That's dirty. Oops. Let's see if I got it here. Let's see. Yesterday I tried. I got the that Rex lead to work with Xeris, but I had to really beef up my my 5s to be able to withstand the punishment. I think I gave him my Vandor Chewie mods. Someone said, and I don't know if I didn't watch all the videos on it. I just saw it and I threw it in to see if I could do it. Where is it? That one's not as easy, but it's good. I mean, it's pretty straightforward if you've got the modding. I think my Rex, because I swapped his, I had to take a bunch of mods off him, unfortunately, for this dude, JML. Alright, I'll get 5 first. Let's look here. I think, I'm almost positive I put VC mods on them. if I can do it without the Rex, without moving Rex's mod. So Rex is a little bit too flimsy, I think. Otherwise, he ends up sacrificing, and then he goes into ult, and then he just murders everyone. See what it looks like. What the hell? That's good. Did I mess it up? Oh shoot. Alright. My bad. I thought I was in there already. And you know what? Just because I like living on the edge, I'm going to put 5s in the 4th slot. Like a white Cauldric and Scoundrel. I don't have time for that. Alright, let's give it a shot. Let's do this, and then I'll talk about Mothma, because there was a bunch of testing on Mothma. That one was the one that was really frustrating me. Pretty straightforward on this counter. I mean, it's smart. I honestly, and you know, one of the things that I messed up, when I was running this and I was losing, is because I think I had a crit avoid arrow on 5s, and that was just like, you actually don't want that. You kind of want the crit. Keep them up and running. Jeez. It's a lot of punishment. Eventually, Hux, I believe, just sort of starts killing himself. I don't know why I put that on him, but I'll do it. It's funny that Rex, with like 60% health, still is. He wasn't the weakest one out of that between him and. Jeez. Dang. That's a lot. Okay. Let's help you out, buddy. I'll come back to him in a second. It's just a bummer that crew is so hard to get through. Dang, he's getting pretty low. I really do worry that I have to do this effectively. I did it one time, but to do this effectively, I've got to remod Rex too. It's one thing to remod 5s. I feel like I remod that guy every other day, but oh, I know what happens. As soon as Hux gets his his health starts diminishing, that's whenever I'm in a much better spot. Good job, 5s. What? Leave me alone. Should I just auto this? It's taking forever. I probably should. I bet it'll still go. There we go. Now we can get our turn meter. I'm gonna go make friends with First Order Stormtrooper. No. See if we get it. Rex target Faust. Rest target crew. Did it? I need to diversify my music. It's been a long time. I gotta go back in there and do some stuff with it. Dex, this would be, I'm sure, okay with a gas lead, but what you're trying to do here is you're trying to get away with less, right? And if you can save gas for your Jedi team or something like that, that's what you want to do. I just can't believe 220 siphon this guy's got. He's not one-shotting things yet. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna chink through this. I think I should have gotten through their armor faster. And you're right. I should have been splitting my attack between Rex on Faust and everyone else on crew. Otherwise, it's a good counter. You gotta play it right. Something that I need a little bit more practice on if I'm gonna ever use that. Like I said, I don't know when 5v5 is coming back, but and it's just funny because they made this change specifically so that way crew couldn't, or SLK couldn't, get gassed, right? That's what was the original. Just gas 501st was getting through SLK no problem. Then they made this change, and now you can do it without them. It's like, okay, well, I know. Sorry. It's a learning process, guys. Okay, leave me alone. I'm under the influence of some claw. Let me talk about one other comp. Actually, let me just go into Discord for it so you guys can see it. All right, where are we at? Where's Discord? There we go. Okay. Alright, so this one right here. This one, okay, so look, Ian did a video on this. Thank you, Ian, for doing a video on this. On one day, I did 4 tests, and 2 of them ended like this. Clean, easy win. Let me pull it up. Let me make it bigger. And you know what? I was pretty sold on this as my counter. Hang on. Sorry, guys. I wish it were bigger, but it's not. Maybe I'll do this so you guys can see it better. It is Mon Mothma countering Rey. And Aesop Rock, who's one of my patrons, he's been working on various versions of this counter for a couple weeks, and it all included a Zeta POW, relics and Zeta POW. And my Zeta is like my POW's like gear 8, and I have no intention of putting a Zeta on that dude. I just have a philosophical difference with with everything about him. But as you're watching this was like a very straightforward counter. I felt like it's totally death by 1,000 cuts. You just manage your debuffs, your ability blocks, all that stuff, and then you just work through them, right? I'm very comfortable with those types of counters because generally speaking, you just need to know who's going to be, what the AI prefers, what they're going to do. Like for example, you kind of want Holdo to be ability blocked early on as well because she'll just cleanse somebody and then then Rey will whirlwind you and it's like not good. But yeah, not a difficult counter. The point I'm making with this is that I did it on one day where I won 2 of 4, and of the 2 that I lost, I think one of them was just me like still not knowing what I was doing. I was trying to figure it out. So I felt decently good about it. I put it up there, said, hey, this is what it is. Ian sees it, he makes a video on it. And then I get a message from someone like, hey, another creator like, hey, I'm actually thinking about gearing these, do you recommend it? I'm like, time out, let's pump the brakes. I tested it 4 times. I don't like putting you know, the Clash seal of approval on a counter if I've only tested it 4 times. So I then went in and tested it against the same person. This is pills on my shirt. Like 25 times, and I won twice. I was like, that's not good. Something is going awfully wrong. And he said he changed like 1 or 2 mods, but nothing substantial. I mean, I've got about 55 minutes of footage on just this counter alone, and what it comes down to is I either time out or I get whirlwinded, and it's just not as easy as I was thinking. So word of advice, word of caution, MM versus Ray, not a very reliable counter for me yet in this lineup. It's more reliable for Aesop with his PAL team, which really pains me to say. It does not mean I'm going to get a Zeta PAL anytime soon, and I hope not to. But that's where the cookie is falling right now. Is I'm not able to use this as a raid counter, like my dreams had you know, really predicted. So I just want to put that out there. The person earlier, I think it was PNN or someone else, that was asking me about the testing I've been doing. That is sometimes the case when you test. You think things are going great, and then something changes and everything falls apart. So I've got to put more like pen to paper on this, because it definitely did not look as easy and beautiful as that one did whenever I did it the following day. So let's talk quickly on the 3v3 testing we were doing. As mentioned, JKL is like a really good, and these are like Relic 6, 7 great mods. Like this is one of the toughest ones, toughest 3s comps to get through. And I was an idiot and I used stun, I think, when I shouldn't have, or something. Like, you can't stun these people. But once it's down to him, it's pretty much game over. You really don't even need gas in this. This is me doing the same attack against DR and his trio there. I put Old Ben in there just because I wanted a tanker and I wanted a taunt to see if Watt could help me with that. And it did. I still lost him, but I'm likely going to save JKL right now, at least again until I know what our world looks like with JML and Sith Eternal Emperor for that counter specifically. So now let's look at let's see, what is this? This is the one. This is my squad on defense, and it's pretty beast. Is there a reason it's an unlisted video and not an official Clash video? Yeah, I don't like. I really only put listed videos out there, potato, on like ones that I've produced and put music with and like all this. I don't like doing normal like testing videos out there just because it could get spammy for people. Like, you know, I only put out maybe 1 or 2 videos a month at most. So I'm pretty careful. I put all of these in just this one channel, Clash's Corner, and that way you guys can access them anytime you want. I wish it were easier to have a system where you say like, look, I only want the like good videos like versus all the other stuff you put in between. And then unfortunately there's not an easy way to do it with YouTube, so I just put them all under most of them under unlisted, if that makes sense. That was a statement. There's a reason. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. I thought you said, is there a reason? That's what I'm I misread. I blame the law of Claw. He's drinking seltzer. Yes. You should make the video smaller. I hate you guys. I really do. If I went in there and like pulled it up, I could make it easier for you guys. But you know what? That is what we deal with. You got a relic Zeta POW, Jellycat. I don't know. Do you think CG won't give us anything that could be used as a sandbox mode because they want it to be difficult to figure out what teams encounters? Yeah, I do. Like if I'm being honest, the reason we don't have a sandbox mode is because um yeah, we should put B-roll on the other one. Yeah, they don't. Whoa, what is that? What is that? The hell was that? Oh, I bet my recording had. I bet my recording had audio on it. Or oh no no no, it was not my recording. It was someone. It was pills. It just went into Mickey Mouse or the Chipmunks. That was hilarious. November 25th, I think. Hashtagger. Um, Magnetic motion. Yes, I think a 3-star Mon Mothma will suffice if you got both Zetas, and maybe not against a General Grievous, right? Because the AOE's do a lot of damage, but um, man, against a lot of things, that don't have that much AOE damage, very easy to lose against this comp. There's just too tanky. It's like the stats are too intense. Which one is this going against? Oh, this is an offense against GG. Blame Vega is pretty much what you need. Where are you at, Jelly? So if you're at coffee, that means you're probably like, I'm gonna guess, Croatia. Somewhere Slavic. I'm guaranteeing it's a Slavic country. Tell me I'm wrong. Not expertly played. You're right. Yes, PNN. It was not expertly played, and that's why I wanted to put that disclaimer on there. I think there was some things that could have done a little bit better, but yeah, very easy to counter GG. In fact, in 5v5, Mon Mothma counters GG just great with Mothma, K2, Cassian, HR Scout, and like any other Rebel fighter. Doesn't really matter which one it is. Dex. Cassian is a god under Mon Mothma, and I mean that because he really does shut so many things down. Like he's just crazy how good, like, he is. It's just nuts. Like you think about like every time someone moves, you're landing ability buff immunity on basic. HRSK, yes, HRSK is like the engine, but like I would say it this way, like HR Scout is like the trigger and Cassian is the bullet, right? Like so, that's how I view it. Cassian's like what actually gets the job done. You definitely need someone to go in there and do the work of pulling the trigger, like HR Scout does, but it's definitely not the same. Not the same effect. Yeah, that was the most difficult part of the Cassian experience was the three eyeballs. It made me feel like it was like bringing me flashbacks of like the three stun guns at Gear 11 for Kira. it's like yeah, it was rough. I feel you, buddy. All right, what time is it? 11:45. The best five. Again, here's just remember there is no perfect cure to a Traya counter yet. So just know that if you want to put Traya, you could have all the best Rebel fighters in the world. She's gonna eat them alive. If you ignore Traya, the best five are Mon Mothma, Scout, Cassian, K2, Chupio. The next best five, you don't want to put Chupio there. Probably either Kara Dune or maybe I actually got a hold last time using Stormtrooper Han there. So I think another tank is good. If you want to put something with a little bit more heft to it, you can. And in fact, I need to pin that like write up that I did in the server on this, because I have a very specific. Uh, it, I mean, yes and no. Actually, I've seen certain Mothma teams that are less geared than the people that were trying to counter it win, and it's mainly because, um, she just, if you have them modded correctly, she can just like eat you alive with turn meter removal from Kara, with turn meter gains from Scout. Um, it feels like you just never move. I mean, it can easily go your way, and it can easily go the wrong way, right? It's like almost like the CLS counter to Padme. If you do it right, it's like you perfect. Like it took 30 seconds, and I'm done, and I have max protection and health. And if I don't do it right, I'm timed out, and I'm like, what the hell just happened? So, how about a fast Biston and Scout and Pow for an endless loop? I think that's a good combo for TB. I think that's a great combo for TB. I just don't necessarily like it with uh, for the purposes of PvP. It just feels like you're sharpening a butter knife, right? Where you're just like, yes, I'm going to cut you, and it's gonna hurt, but like, I'd rather just bring a freaking machete, to the fight. And if I'm gonna bring a machete, I'd rather bring in Chupio, and Cassian, uh, versus these like little. I'm not afraid of that, because my first like love of this game was the Death by a Thousand Cuts chirpily, Ewoks. Like, I just thought that was so much fun to watch me like chip away at the enemies, and that's kind of what Mon Mothma does, right? She's just one of those characters that lets you control the board and eat away at the enemy. Um, the machete can be dull, yes. Mon Mothma, to me, Dex is definitely worth the investment. Um, and yeah, no, I would. Here's what I'd say: if you've got the three combos, 1, 2, 3. You've got K2 Cassian, you've got Wigs, and you've got Chase, right? Chirrut and Baze. Um, I like them in that order. I like. The only reason I don't like Chase is because it can be bounty hunter countered really hard. Um, yes, Beans and Cheese has some great wedge crafting that he's done, because they hit the hardest of all of them, right? If you've got them properly geared and modded and all that stuff under Mon Mothma, I have shamefully brought in my Gear 12 Treya Sith to a against a Mothma with relic wigs, and watched everyone just get completely lit on fire. Gas poured on them, lit on fire, and like done. It was like 30 seconds. I was like, I was trying to, I was like, hey, airplane, no, shoot, back out. No, I just preloaded in TW. So, and then the last combo is basically any of those other like random ones kind of strung together. Um, that's the way I look at it. I think she breathed new life into a faction that was really missing something, like all those rebels needed. I am hopeful that they continue with that, because it's a lot of fun to like not have to change these kits of like whatever it was, like 10 characters, and yet all of a sudden they're all relevant now if you gear them and mod them. So I like those types of things. I like where we're going. I'm really, really excited about these two Scoundrels. I'm definitely going to probably do my very best to get them up and running as fast as possible, so I can have, one, cool videos for you guys, but two, more importantly, they look like they're just a lot of fun. I'm really excited to see what they can do on both offense and defense. And so, if you have new ideas, or you have things that you think are not being well covered or explored on those things, let me know, because I'm really excited about what 80 or 11 and Quill can do, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we get Pyatt the same thing. Yeah, exactly. Now, no, I will say that, like for GBA, they still had to make some modifications to the bugs. They didn't have to do that at all for the Rebel Fighters. They just said, we're giving you what you got, and what we do with her kid's gonna make them stand on their own. So, but yeah, I agree. Gentlemen, ladies, Claw, cheers. It is midnight my time. I need to be up pretty early, so I'm gonna sign off on this one. It has been fun. I've got a lot more videos that I've got to put together, including just to highlight some stuff that's coming up. There's some more modding videos that I've been working on, and I know Vega's been working on one with me for Vader specifically. That one could be pretty cool. And then specifically with Mothma, I've got a sort of walkthrough. Besides what you heard here, there's a more thorough walkthrough that I'm gonna get for you guys. So, cheers to everyone. May you have a wonderful evening. I will see you all, yeah, in the next video. Thanks, guys.